She was one vault away from making the national team. One vault, the overhead camera her own documentary crew had mounted, caught every second of what happened next. 13 seconds of footage the Federation spent six months trying to bury. And when investigators finally pulled the MRI her coach had hidden in his desk drawer, they found something that changed everything. What did that scan show that made her death not an accident, but a crime? Sienna Vaughn had been doing gymnastics since she was 4 years old. She was 19 now. That is old in this sport. Most girls are done by 20. Her body had been pushed for 15 straight years, and it showed. Her left wrist had a metal plate in it from a break 3 years earlier. Her ankles cracked every morning when she got out of bed. She had a scar on her right elbow from a fall on the uneven bars when she was 12. But she was still here. She was still trying. She trained at a private gym in the hills outside Denver. It was called Meridian Elite Gymnastics Academy. Her parents paid $62,000 a year to send her there. That did not count her private vault coach. It did not count the trips to meets. It did not count the therapist who came to the gym twice a week to work on her wrist. Her mom and dad had taken out a second loan on their house. They owned a small bakery. They did not have this kind of money, but they had this one kid, and this one kid had a dream, and they were going to make the dream work. A film crew had been following Sienna for the last 4 months. They came from a streaming service. They wanted to make a movie about her comeback. They did not pay her. They promised her the movie would change her life. Sienna believed them. She let them film everything. Her workouts, her meals, her fights with her coach, her tears after bad days. They even mounted a tiny camera above the vault table in the gym so they could catch every rep from above. Her head coach was a man named Victor Lenkov. He had coached her since she was 11. He had coached 3 girls to the Olympics before her. He was famous at Meridian. Parents wanted him for their kids. The academy paid him a lot of money. If his girls won, he kept his job. If his girls lost, the parents stopped paying. Sienna had one big meet coming up. It was the selection meet for the national team. It was in late January. If she made the team, she got one more shot at the big stage. If she did not make the team, she was done. There was a 16-year-old on the waiting list ready to take her spot. 6 weeks before the meet, Sienna started feeling something strange. Every time she landed a vault, a buzzing ran down her right arm. It felt like electricity. It made her fingers go numb for a few seconds. She told no one at first. Then she told the gym's physical therapist. The therapist sent her for an MRI on her neck. The scan came back on a Thursday morning. It showed a tiny crack in the bone at the top of her neck. The bone was called C5. The crack was small, but it was pressing on her spinal cord. The radiologist wrote that she should stop training right away. She should see a neck doctor. She should not compete until the crack healed. Victor Lenkov read the scan. He did not give it to the Federation. He did not give it to Sienna's parents. He walked into the gym that afternoon and told Sienna it was a muscle strain. He told her to ice it. He told her she would be fine. She believed him. She had always believed him. Her training partner was a 17-year-old girl named Priya Okafor. Priya saw how much pain Sienna was in. She tried to talk to her. I told her to sit out that Tuesday practice, Priya told investigators later. Her wrist was so swollen she could barely grip the bar, and she kept rubbing her neck when she thought no one was looking. I told her to rest. She shook her head. She said she did not spend 15 years in this sport to back down now. There was an older coach at the gym too. Her name was Dana Reyes. She had been coaching for 22 years. She knew when a girl was not ready. She watched Sienna warm up the week before the meet, and she did not like what she saw. Sienna's timing off the vault table was slow. Her block was late. A late block on a hard vault could kill a gymnast. It had killed gymnasts before. Dana went to Victor. I told him her timing was off, Dana said later. I told him I was worried. He told me to mind my own event. He told me he knew his athlete better than I did. Selection meet day came. It was a Saturday. The meet was at a small arena about 40 minutes from the gym. A snowstorm was coming in that afternoon. The arena was cold, maybe 64 degrees inside. The crowd was small, just a few hundred people. Most were parents and judges and coaches. The documentary crew was there. The cameras were rolling. The vault table had been checked that morning. The landing mats had not. Those mats were 6 years old. The rule book said landing mats should be replaced every 2 years. The Academy had not wanted to pay for new ones. New ones cost about $4,800. The Academy had written that down in a budget note the year before. They had said no. Sienna chalked her hands at 3:07 in the afternoon. She looked up at the small camera her film crew had mounted above the vault runway. She knew it was watching. She mouthed 3 words straight at the lens. 3 words the world would see later. "Watch me fly." Then she turned. She walked to the end of the runway. Her hands were shaking just a little. Her right arm felt buzzy. She tried to ignore it. She thought about her mom at the bakery. She thought about her dad in his work boots. She thought about the 16-year-old waiting to take her spot. The green light turned on. The buzzer sounded. There was no going back now. And she ran. Before this gets any darker, tap that subscribe button right now. Because what the overhead camera caught in the next 13 seconds is something the Federation fought for half a year to keep you from ever seeing. The runway was 25 meters long. Sienna ran it in a little over 4 seconds. Her feet hit the springboard hard. Her hands slammed into the vault table. This was where it should have worked. A 1/10 of a second of push, a clean block, a clean launch. Her block was late, just 1/10 of a second. That is how fast a hummingbird's wing flaps. That is how long it takes a person to blink. In gymnastics, 1/10 of a second is the difference between landing on your feet and landing on your head. She flew up. She tried to twist. She was doing a vault called a Yurchenko double full. It was a hard vault. It had killed gymnasts before. Her body spun through the air. She saw the bright ceiling lights when she should have been seeing the mat. Her brain tried to fix it. She kicked out her legs to try to save the landing. It was too late. She came down headfirst. The sound was loud. It was wet. One of the judges had been watching gymnastics for 40 years. She said it sounded like a coconut hitting concrete. Every person in the building heard it. Her neck broke on impact. The small crack at C5 became a full break. The bones shifted inside her neck. They cut through her spinal cord. The cord was the wire that carried signals from her brain to her body. When that wire got cut, her body went quiet. Her arms stopped working. Her legs stopped working. Her chest stopped working. She lay on the landing mat. Her eyes were open. She could not move. She could not speak. She could still hear for a few more seconds. She heard the crowd go silent. It was the kind of silence that does not happen except when something has gone very wrong. A mother in the second row started praying in Spanish. A father had his camera out, and he lowered it slowly into his lap. The arena's medical team was on the far side of the floor. They were next to the uneven bars. They had to run across the whole floor to reach her. It took them 91 seconds. In that time, her breathing slowed down. It got shallow. Her lips started to turn blue. The lead paramedic was a man named Curtis Hale. He had been on the job 20 years. He got to her first. He looked into her eyes. Her eyes were open, he said later. There was nothing behind them. I have been doing this 20 years, I knew. He called for a neck brace. His partner ran back for one. The neck brace on hand was an adult size. It was too big for Sienna's small neck. The straps would not tighten. They could not hold her head still. Curtis grabbed rolled towels from his bag and jammed them around her neck. It was the best he could do. Her breathing got worse. It went from shallow to broken. She was making wet, gasping sounds. Her brainstem was losing contact with her lungs. Curtis tried to use a bag mask to push air into her. The seal kept breaking because her jaw had gone loose. He tried to put a tube down her throat, but her neck was broken. He could not tilt her head the right way without maybe making the break worse. The coach, Victor, ran onto the floor. He was screaming her name. Dana, the older coach, pulled him back. "Let them work," she yelled. "Let them work." Priya Okafor had been warming up on beam when the sound happened. She had stopped in the middle of her routine. She stood on the beam and stared at the other end of the floor. "I heard it," she said later. "Everyone heard it. You do not forget a sound like that." The ambulance was parked at the west loading dock. The route from the competition floor to the ambulance went through a service hallway. That hallway was blocked. The documentary crew had parked 2 rolling equipment carts in it. Their gear cases and light stands were everywhere. The medics had to stop. They had to wait. 3 minutes were lost moving the carts out of the way. 3 minutes, in a neck injury, 3 minutes is forever. When they finally got her into the ambulance, her blood pressure was crashing. The number was 68, over 40. It was still dropping. Her heart was beating slower and slower. Her body was going into something called neurogenic shock. That happens when the spinal cord is cut so badly that the nerves cannot tell the heart to keep working right. The nearest big hospital was 22 miles away. It was the only hospital in the area with a neck surgeon on call. The snowstorm had started. The roads were icy. The ambulance driver was moving as fast as he could. The trip still took 38 minutes. While they were driving, the neck surgeon at the hospital was in another surgery. A man had been in a bad car crash. He was on the operating table already. The backup surgeon was at home in a town called Boulder. A hospital worker called him. He got in his car. He started driving in. At 3:49 in the afternoon, inside the ambulance, Sienna's heart stopped. Curtis Hale started chest compressions. He pushed down on her chest 120 times a minute. He counted out loud. His partner used the radio to tell the hospital to have a team ready at the doors. Curtis kept pushing. He kept counting. Sienna's hands were still covered in chalk. He remembered that later. He told his wife about it that night. He said he could not stop thinking about the chalk. The ambulance kept driving. The snow was getting worse. The siren screamed. The doctor in Boulder was still 40 minutes away. And Sienna's mother, at home, was just finishing up at the bakery. Her phone was on the counter. She had not checked it yet. She did not know. She did not know yet. The ambulance pulled up to the hospital doors at 3:54 in the afternoon. The trauma team was waiting. They rushed Sienna inside. Curtis Hale had gotten her heart beating again in the ambulance after 4 minutes of chest compressions. But she was not really alive. Her eyes were open and still. Her pupils did not move when the doctors shone a light in them. Her brain was not waking up. The head trauma doctor was a woman named Dr. Ayanna Whitfield. She had worked in trauma for 15 years. She looked at the first scan. She already knew. "We knew the moment we saw the pictures," Dr. Whitfield told the investigators later. Her neck was broken in the worst way a neck can break. The cord was cut. Her brain was already starting to swell. We got her heart beating again, twice on that table. Both times, the swelling beat us. They took her into surgery anyway. They had to try. The backup neck surgeon had made it in from Boulder by then. His name was Dr. Rajan Patel. He scrubbed his hands. He put on his gown. He walked into the operating room at 4:52 in the afternoon. The surgery lasted 3 hours and 11 minutes. The surgery worked, in a way. He took pressure off her spinal cord. He fixed the broken bones with metal plates and screws. The operation was a success on paper. But Sienna's brain had already been without enough oxygen for too long. Her body was still, but her brain was gone. While the doctors worked, something else was happening. The Federation had sent a man named Marcus Donnelly to start the investigation. He was a compliance officer. That means his job was to find out what went wrong. He got to the arena within 2 hours of the fall. He started asking for papers. He asked for the gym's medical records. He asked for the vault table inspection logs. He asked for the landing mat papers. He asked for one more thing too, something no one expected him to ask for. He asked for the documentary crew's raw footage. The crew handed it over that night. They had no choice. Marcus sat down at a desk in a small office in the arena. He watched the footage, he read the papers, and he started finding things he could not believe. He found the MRI report from 11 weeks before the meet. It showed the crack in Sienna's neck. It showed the pressure on her cord. It said clearly she should not compete. That report had never been sent to the Federation. It was buried in a folder in Victor Lenkov's office drawer. He found a text message. Victor had sent it to the gym's physical therapist. The message told her not to share the MRI results with the Federation's medical review board. He had written it in plain English. He had not even been careful. He found an email from the gym's business manager. It was dated 1 year before Sienna's fall. The email turned down a quote to buy new landing mats. The quote was for $4,800. The business manager had written that the gym could not afford it this year. They had signed off on it. They had moved on. He found vault runway inspection papers. They had been signed, but they had not been dated. That meant no one could prove when the last real check had happened. It might have been months. It might have been a year. And he found the 13 seconds of overhead footage. The camera above the vault showed Sienna walking to the chalk bowl. It showed Victor walking over. It showed him leaning in close to her ear. It showed him talking for about 8 seconds. It showed Sienna shaking her head no. It showed Victor pointing at the runway. It showed him talking again. It showed her nodding. It showed her walking to the start line. Marcus watched it 3 times. Then he picked up his phone and called his boss. Dana Reyes, the older coach, had stayed at the gym late that night. She had not gone to the hospital. She could not. She knew too much. She sat on a bench in the empty gym and cried for 2 hours. Then she drove to the Federation office. She signed a written statement at 11:40 at night. She told them everything. He knew about the neck, she said in the statement. He told me himself 3 weeks ago that he thought the break was worse than the scan said. He told her it was a muscle strain because he needed her to compete. He was afraid to lose her spot on the team. He has done this before. Marcus looked up. Done what before? He asked her. Dana told him about a girl named Kayla Brennan, 4 years earlier. Victor had pushed her through an ankle injury. She had competed. She had fallen on the beam and landed wrong. She had nerve damage in her right leg now. She was 18 and walked with a cane. The gym had paid her family to keep quiet. The Federation had never been told. At the hospital, Sienna's mother had arrived at 5:18 in the afternoon. She still had her apron on from the bakery. She had flour on her hands. Her husband arrived an hour later, still in his work boots with dirt on his jeans. A doctor took them into a small room next to the ICU. A social worker was there too. They closed the door. The doctor told them as gently as she could. Sienna's injuries were too bad. The brain damage was too much. She would not wake up. She could stay on machines, but she was already gone. They held each other and cried for a long time. At 10:47 at night, the doctors did the tests. They said the word, brain dead. Her mom signed the papers to donate her organs at 11:22. Her heart would fly on a plane the next morning. It would go to a man in Salt Lake City. He was 47 years old. He had 3 kids. He would live because Sienna had died. Outside the ICU, Victor Lenkov was standing in the hallway. A Federation worker walked up to him. He was asked to hand over his coaching card. He did not say anything. He sat down in a plastic chair. He stared at the floor. He did not move for a long time. The next 6 hours would change everything. Sienna Maeve A. Vaughn was taken off the machines at 4:16 the next morning. She was 19 years old. The medical examiner wrote her cause of death in plain words: broken neck, cut spinal cord, brain damage from lack of oxygen. The report listed other things that made it worse: the crack in her neck that was already there, the slow medical help at the arena, the long ride to the hospital. The Federation called it a Category 1 preventable death. That means it did not have to happen. Here is the part that should make you angry. Victor Lenkov had the MRI report 11 weeks before the meet. He hid it. He lied to Sienna's face. He told her it was a muscle strain because he did not want to lose her to the 16-year-old on the waiting list. He had done the same thing to Kayla Brennan 4 years before. Kayla walks with a cane now. She is 18. He was paid to stay quiet. The landing mats were 6 years old. New mats cost $4,800. The gym said no. That is what her life was worth to them. The price of a used car. The meet had 2 paramedics and a physical therapist. The rules said there should have been a trauma doctor and a sleep doctor. They had cut the medical team to save $31,000 for the year. The hallway to the ambulance was blocked by the film crew's carts. No one had shown the film crew where the emergency exit was. No one had thought to. Every single one of these things was a choice. Someone chose to save money. Someone chose to hide a scan. Someone chose to push a hurt girl onto a broken mat in front of a camera. After Sienna died, the rules changed. Independent doctors, not gym-paid ones, now have to be at every meet. Any neck scan showing a crack now goes straight to the Federation. Landing mats are checked every year. Coaches who hide medical reports lose their cards for life. In 3 states, they can go to jail. Victor Lenkov was charged with a crime in September. He pled down to 1 felony count. He is serving 4 years. He will never coach again. The sport will keep going. The scores will keep climbing. The apparatus does not know your name. The scoreboard does not care that you trained since you were 4. Medals do not come to funerals. If you coach a kid tonight, remember Sienna. She trusted her coach. He lied to her. She died. Pain is not weakness in this sport. But lying about a scan is not toughness. It is a crime. Learn the difference before someone you love learns it in a hospital hallway at 4 in the morning. Her phone was in her gym bag in the locker room. Her last text was to her mother. It read, "I am so nervous, but I am doing it. Watch me." Her coach watched her and let her do it anyway. That is why he should be in prison, and that is why he is.